The work I am not at liberty to quit. A writing prompt that gets to the essence of what really matters. For more than 20 years, I've been the queen of creating evocative writing prompts that help my students get to the heart of what they really need to say. Today, I'm going to share one of my tried and true favorites. I've often used this poem by A. Papatia Bukak as the lead-in to a great surefire writing prompt. An address to my fellow faculty who have asked me to speak about my work by A. Papatia Bukak. My work is to write this sentence and revise it into that sentence, to take this word and replace it with that word. My work is a novel I wrote from 5 to 7 a.m. for more than 2 years, and that will never be published. My work is to be the person you trust to tell the truth, even though I am a known liar. My work is to see who you are and who I think you could become, to notice the slate gray night lit by a full moon half behind a cloud, to know what it is to want more from someone than they are willing to give, to see the shadows cast by your secrets, to notice an ant that has drowned in a single drop of water in my sink. My work is to explain my heart even though I cannot explain my heart. My work is to find the right word even though there is no right word. My work is to remember that I always wanted to be a writer and that one day my father turned to a friend of his and said, "This is my daughter. She is trying to be a writer." And then he corrected himself and said, "She is a writer." My work is to stop everything when a student right in front of me writes the line, "I think I would be a better dancer if only I had wings." My work is to believe in grace even though I don't believe in God, to realize that all of my greatest fears are things that are definitely going to come true. My father will die, my mother will die, my brother, my niece, my nephew, me. My work is to pay attention when my mother says, "I cried all of my tears that first year I lived in Turkey." To pay attention when my mother says of her freshman roommate, "It was like Tigger rooming with Owl." To pay attention when my father says, "You should sit by my side and write down everything I say like the prophet." To pay attention when my father says, "Chickens are braver than us." To pay attention when my nephew says to his sister, "All of your teeth are sweet teeth." To pay attention when my nephew says to me, "I'd like to see how long you'd last in Azkaban without a book." My work is to tell you that without art, we would be in a world without art. My work is the blood on the heels of my socks in high school because I ran hard sometimes, but not always, so that my calluses came and went. My work is to honor the glory of Trash Day, all of those cans lined up before dawn, an obedient nation in this one instance only. My work is to believe in everyone's capacity for kindness. My work is to believe in everyone's capacity for cruelty. My work is the bird of dawn, the tale of my grief, the thief of love, the city of beauties, the nest of snakes, the helping animal, the animated doll, the transformative power of love, the juice of a single grape. My work is to imagine a world without art, so that there is never a world without art. My work is to tell you this. Years ago, I was on the subway in Manhattan, and we stopped between stations, and the staticky voice came on the speaker and said there would be a delay of 20 minutes, and cursing ripped through the car, as if a tribe of the homeless mad had just swept into our presence. But then a young woman across from me took out a small pile of paper, and she started folding red origami swans, and each time she finished one, she handed it to one of us. My work is my origami swans. So after I read this poem to my students, the prompt I gave them was, "The work I am not at liberty to quit." And here's my response to that prompt. The work I am not at liberty to quit. Opening my heart, opening my heart, opening my heart, opening my heart. Learning to be still. Finding and celebrating awe and beauty, no matter the circumstances. Developing my inner resources so I am less like an anxious, worried Jew, my ancestral legacy, and more like the high priestess I met in Bali. I would love to hold, no, to cherish, no, to feel 1/100th of her joy and equanimity. My work is to move toward that inner stillness and that deep compassion in whatever way I can, even though I will never make it in this lifetime. But I will continue to try. The work I am not at liberty to quit is learning about marriage and love, coming from a place where love equaled control, violation, over-involvement, and deep feeling. Good intentions, always good intentions. But love through untouched blind spots can hurt a developing child. My work is to embrace who I am and not believe I could become like the high priestess with her radiant Balinese joy. To take each moment of joy I am gifted to experience and extend it by 5 seconds each time. 5 more seconds looking at that flower. 5 more seconds holding that person's eyes. 5 more seconds in an embrace. 5 more seconds not turning away or back to my list. 5 more seconds of dropping whatever I'm doing that I think is so important and listening to my beloved instead. My work is to see her as my beloved, to treat her as my beloved, recognize her as my beloved. The work I am not at liberty to quit is the creative manifestation that flows so easily out of me into the world. I may step away from it. I may choose to focus my attention on other things, but I cannot curtail it entirely, nor would I want to, because it is me flowing out into the world, as natural as any tributary, stream, river, making its inevitable and relentless way to the sea. The work I am not at liberty to quit is to notice beauty, walk in beauty, celebrating the trees, the grains of sand, the waves, the forest, the granite cliff of the Sierras, the pull of tides, the desert sand. To soften my eyes and receive it all, never grasping, never insisting, just receiving. The work I am not at liberty to quit is doing one thing at a time. To stop seeing multitasking and productivity as my work. It is not my work. It is the antithesis of my work. It keeps me from my essence. It keeps me from the truth of who I am and who I am meant to be. It is a dam in the wall of my being that blocks my flow and numbs me to the real world. It is a habit, and it is my work to understand the source of that habit, be it ancestral, traumatic, or cultural, and to push back against it by opening my palms and learning in the deepest way that momentum is not my friend. The work I am not at liberty to quit is to surrender to this breath, and this breath, and this breath. It's being a channel, a healer, a community builder with open hands. The work I'm not at liberty to quit is to find optimism, to find a yes in a being that is so deeply wired to worry about the future, and to have my first response be no. I remember my friend Kimberly 40 years ago, who had 9 children. She told me that her greatest asset as a mother was that her first natural response to any request from her children was to say yes. Yes, and let's figure out how we could do that. I remember being astounded when she told me that. And true to form or wiring or habit, whatever it might be, My first response to most requests is no, and then I come back to maybe, and then trying to figure out a yes. The work I am not at liberty to quit is to say yes, 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 yes to all of it, to all life puts before me. Now it's your turn. Here's your prompt. The work I am not at liberty to quit. I invite you to share your thoughts or an excerpt from your writing in the comments. And remember, every time you click the heart, leave a comment, or share a post, you're making it easier for new readers and listeners to discover the writer's journey.